Tonight we visit with Lamar Sociology Department Chair Dr. Stuart Wright, who teaches courses in sociology while also teaching about terrorism. And he's studied terrorism abroad for over a decade. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Sure.
So I think the big question is kind of how all these terrorist groups have started, and I'm talking modern day Al-Qaeda, your ISIS, even Boko Haram, how it's just kind of spread. Can you kind of give us a little bit of the origin of some of these groups?
Well, a lot of them have original ties with Al-Qaeda, but after 9/11, the war against terrorism and troops sent to Afghanistan and even Iraq sort of dispersed a lot of them. So you have Al-Qaeda in Yemen, Al-Qaeda in the Arab Peninsula. Boko Haram has ties to Al-Qaeda. You might remember the embassy bombings in Nairobi, and I can't remember the other country, Dar es Salaam, I think. But those were early Al-Qaeda attacks, but you had a lot of activity with Al-Qaeda in the Horn of Africa.
So as we look at what went on in Paris last Friday, and it was continued on the next several days as investigators have tried to hunt these terrorists down, there's really no gender specific anymore with terrorists, is there? Because we hear, a woman blows herself up, but we see that now more often that women are also becoming involved in this.
Women have had an increasing role in terrorist groups. There's actually a group called the Black Widows that were known among Chechen terrorists. But we have noticed, and there's been more research on this, they used to play kind of minor roles, assisting roles, but now they're playing more operative roles.
Tell me from a instance, a lot of these groups have admitted that they just, hate the way the Western world works, and that's why all these, bombings and terroristic threats are coming. But is there like a more underlying root cause of these attacks and why they're attacking certain places? Because, Boko Haram is attacking Nigeria, which is, in some places, third world countries, and then they're attacking Paris, which is, one of the premier countries in the world.
Boy, those are
in the city.
The answers to that are very complex. I mean, I think they're varied. Sometimes you see terrorist groups arise out of our foreign policy. I think we in part created ISIS or ISIL or Daesh by invading Iraq and taking out the Sunnis. Then the Shia militias really took retribution on the Sunni Muslims in Iraq. And I don't know if you know this, but Iran is pretty much a Shia stronghold, and you have the Sunnis in Iraq, and they've been at war with each other for decades. And so this goes back, there's a lot of history here. And so ISIS is in part made up of former Iraqi soldiers and military that were loyal to Saddam Hussein.
Looking at the situation right now, and you hear so much about Westerners now becoming involved with ISIS, this curiosity or anti-Americanism that's going on in this country. Is that beginning to build? Is that a huge concern for this country, that we are having ISIS sympathizers?
I think it will be a concern. I think that the United States, you probably have less than 100 people who have tried to join ISIS or have been caught by the FBI. Very few have been successful, and our security apparatus is pretty good. But I think in France you have as many as 3,000 fighters that have gone to Syria to fight and join ISIS. And it's a much bigger problem in Europe than it is in the United States.
Dr. Stuart Wright, we appreciate you being here with us. The very enlightening information on what's become a huge issue now, not for just the United States, but for the world.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.